Now we stay in the Northwest, and indeed we're going to have three programs as the afternoon goes on from the upper Northwest, from Washington State. This is the first from Puget Sound, and it's eCityGov Alliance with Rich Conrad and John Blackman. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Just as the world started to go digital, many local governments recognized the potential of the internet to add new ways to access city services. Less well understood was how the siloed nature of government services would limit our ability to tap the strength of the internet. Some of us wondered, how could we leverage the power of the net to provide city services, ignore jurisdictional boundaries, but retain our individual city identities? After all, each of us provide the same basic services, we just do it using different business systems and processes. And each of the 9 Alliance cities would also like to think that we provide excellent customer service, but we also know that we can drive those same customers crazy because of the number of adjoining and overlapping jurisdictions. We have 39 cities in King County alone and 83 cities in our 4-county Seattle metropolitan area. That's a lot of building departments, parks and rec departments, and economic development agencies. The eCityGov Alliance was created with the idea that technology, specifically the internet, could help us reach a new level of customer-centric services and overcome some of the jurisdictional complexities. But to do so would require 2 fundamental changes. We would each need to realign our business practices to a common set of processes, and we would have to create a decision-making and management model that would work for a wide number of jurisdictions. In the end, the Alliance's innovation is less about technology and more about a new form of municipal governance, one that is predicated on our collective ability to meet the service needs of our citizens and businesses. By working as an alliance through the internet, we become faster, more accurate, more efficient, and easier for our citizens to understand. As our site visitor summed up for us when he was there, the Alliance has a roving commission to do good. But why did we think it was so important to re-examine our delivery methods? We think there are at least 3 key reasons. First, the cost of going to the web alone versus the potential economies of scale of working together became a pretty compelling comparison. Most cities struggle to meet the existing obligations of cities, let alone adding a whole host of new online services. As a city manager, I'm increasingly concerned about the growing divide between those cities that can afford the large investments to go online and those that can't. The Alliance's approach has brought web-based capacities to many small cities that otherwise would not be able to pay the high costs that the private vendors are charging. Second, our customers expect it. Where's the first place you go to get quick information? Probably the net. Our surveys clearly showed that there's a strong expectation from our citizens that local government information should be easily available online at little or no cost, and they want to be able to actually conduct business with us via the web. Lastly, we have self-interest. We're using our ability to market high-quality online services to other jurisdictions as a way to generate revenue back to the Alliance. This entrepreneurial strategy has already helped us fund a number of significant improvements to our initial products, thereby improving services to our own cities. As you know, we were here last year, so here's what's different since then. The Alliance has entered a phase of very rapid growth. Not only have we added new features to the existing websites, such as myparksandrecreation.com and mybuildingpermit.com, but we've been rapidly adding new jurisdictions to our subscriber base. We've recently reached agreements to add to our northwestproperty.net website all 20 jurisdictions to the county to our north, as well as adding the city of Seattle. This now positions the Alliance to have the most complete and robust economic development website in the Pacific Northwest, covering a population base of over 1.9 million. By the end of the year, we expect to more than double the number of jurisdictions and agencies served by our web portals. Site utilization is also continuing to increase. MyBuildingPermit.com now issues over 50% of the simple permits offered by our member agencies, and our cities are seeing more than a quarter of their class registrations coming through myparksandrec.com. Of course, more online usage translates directly into savings for our city customers, not to mention a significant reduction in vehicle trips to their city halls. And thanks in part to the Innovations Award Program, we are actively working on replicating our services into other regions of the country. Later this year, we expect to form a partnership with the International City Management Association to market and deploy the Alliance's business model and services to a consortium of cities in Tidewater, Virginia. This partnership will launch the eCityGov Alliance beyond the Puget Sound region to a national marketing focus. Thank you again for allowing us to showcase the Alliance, and we look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you both very much. Can you tell us, Mr. Conrad, has the city of Seattle joined yet?
Yes, and we sort of anticipated you might ask that question since the city of Seattle is in the room.
Yes.
And the answer is yes.
Was it 30 minutes ago, or was it actually something? Yeah.
No, it was within the last few months. And our answer last year was the city of Seattle has always been invited to be a participant. We sat down since we knew we were going to talk to you, and they were happy to do so.
We are glad to be a lever for you.
Thank you.
Yes, but David Osborne.
Can you describe is it northwestproperty.net? Is that what you called it? Could you describe what that portal does that the private sector portals you can use when you're looking to buy a house or other property do?
Go ahead.
What does it do that's different?
I'd be happy to. Yes, you're quite correct. Particularly in the residential side, there are a lot of web portals out there that you can look for houses. On the commercial side, not so. Plus, we've partnered with the Commercial Brokers Association in our area for their data, and then we can combine it with our data to make a much richer experience for our customers, including demographic data, zoning. So it's a real one-stop shop for that site selector. Again, many have said here today that the internet is the first place they go for research. And for the city of Snoqualmie, less than 10,000 population, to be able to expose their commercial property across the world for less than $10,000, not to mention they get 3 other applications, is unprecedented in terms of our ability to scale to meet everybody's needs.
So what this means for a consumer, a citizen, is that you can go onto this site and you want to look for commercial properties in the region, then you can look across the entire region to find out what's available.
That's exactly right. And when we did focus groups and started the project, one city wanted to do this, and the brokers got out their 2x4 and said, if one city does it and then another city does it, we're not going to use it because we don't operate according to your geopolitical boundaries. We operate according to our market areas. And that was a huge shift away from individual cities trying to operate alone.
Right. One also had a sense that this was being done by civil servants almost below the radar screen of those, those partisan, ambitious politicians who sort of run cities. That there was, if you'd left it up to them, this never would have happened.
I am an appointed official, so I tread on tricky waters here. Actually, we are proud of the fact that our elected officials have given us city managers the authority to go out and improve our services. But this is about what the practitioners can do about improved business services.
Well, thank you for that. That was subtly done. Thank you, David.
Your application had an intriguing sentence about creating a new horizontally oriented model capable of smashing down the stovepipes to meet customer needs and dramatically lower costs, which made me think for a moment that you were talking about maybe one permitting office for all these cities rather than one in each city. But you're not talking about that, are you? What do you mean by smashing down the stovepipes?
Well, since John wrote the line, I'll let him explain it. But I guess what my comment would be, the answer is yes. We did produce one virtual building department on the web by using the web to standardize our business processes.
If you think of the public delivery of services as an iceberg, 10%, the above water part, is the policy, the legislative adopted piece. The other 90% is all the administrative adopted rules and procedures of how things are done. We operate on the 90%. So we have to leave the local land use control, for example, in place, But at the same time, we can work with all of our members to create alignment on those administrative functions, and that's where we can leverage the business and create efficiency for our customers.
Carl?
But doesn't that necessarily end up limiting the system's capacity for growth? And now that you've added Seattle as a participant with its own very large and unique administrative system, doesn't that make that laudatory goal of standardization more difficult to achieve and perhaps impossible?
If this could be a brief answer, sir.
Sure. Seattle has chosen to join on the one application that they don't currently provide, which is Northwest Property. We haven't talked directly or in depth about the online permitting application. That's a separate application.